Okay, so I'd like to talk about just different psychological processes and things that we as humans are designed to go through. Like it's part of our development. Some of them are like things like stereotypes and um, phobias. Sometimes they're literally just defense mechanisms. Sometimes they're based on trauma or experiences of ourselves, things that we've gone through. And sometimes you can, through therapy and counseling and things like that, or sometimes literally just in depth self reflection, you can pinpoint where your life changed and where those things began to take hold or take shape in your life, so to speak. There's a lot of different ones, and there's some that the one I want to really talk about today is herd mentality. Herd mentality, okay? And it's something that, I mean, ultimately, all of these things, most of these things are frowned upon in our society, especially with the prevalence of social media. Social media, people like to get on there and everybody thinks that they are an expert. Like, seriously, everybody on social media thinks they're an expert. So they want to talk about things as if they know things that they don't really know. They don't have an in-depth knowledge. They haven't actually experienced the things. Most of the time, people are literally talking about something they heard someone else say, or they read something that someone else wrote, or even worse, they're taking something from social media and sharing it again as if, oh yeah, I agree with that. And it's like, but they really have no basis for it. Herd mentality is a big one, because it's something that's frowned upon in our society, especially over the last like 5 years or so. As we went through the pandemic and everything, a lot of people sat around doing nothing but surfing social media. A lot of people sat around surfing on social media, surfing Facebook and X and Instagram and all these things, and they just had nothing better to do with their time. So people literally sought out things to complain about. It's like they were bored, they were tired, they're restless, they were getting cabin fever, you know. So they literally tried to find things to complain about. And herd mentality became a big one that was like a problem, especially when the pandemic slowly resolved. There was some places it resolved much quicker, but some places it was really slow. So as it resolved, and they expected bigger companies and stuff, so they expected workers to get back to work. Well, you've had me working remotely. Yeah, I had you working remotely because of X, Y, Z, but I need you back in the office now. Why? I'm doing just fine from home. And then more and more people got this idea of, well, they wanted to build something of their own, but didn't really know how. And they felt like more and more people started posting on social media that it was as if the system was designed to make them fail, and as if the system was designed like the system, but nobody really says what the system is. Sometimes they're talking about school, they're talking about politicians, they're talking about anybody with money. Rockefellers are a big one. People want to blame the Rockefellers. Yes. The Rockefellers did have a lot to do with the educational system. Educational system's flawed. But is it all their fault that it's flawed? Because the educational system is nothing today compared to what it was back then. Nor is it anything then compared to what it was before then. It is a very different world and is a very different system. And so to continue to hold people, you know, from so long ago responsible for a system that's changed about 8 times since they had any impact on it at all, is really just short-sighted. It really is. And I'm not trying to turn anyone off and get anybody just to click, oh, I'm done and I'm not going to listen to this anymore because you hate the Rockefellers. Fine, I don't really mind if you dislike the Rockefellers. I don't really mind if you think they're horrible or anything like that. But the problem is like I said, is that this idea of herd mentality is what I'm trying to get across. Okay, so herd mentality is the idea that there will be more conformity within a group. There will be more compliance within a group. There'll be less defiance, less rebellion, less pushback within a group than if it's one-on-one. If you go to one person one-on-one and say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z, then there's a chance they may say no. They may be like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. What are you talking about? But if you go to your entire staff and say, hey, staff, I've got 30 employees. I need all of you to do X, Y, and Z. This is how we do things now. This is the new company policy. The reality is most of those people at one time are less likely to defy or argue or push back than just comply. Well, I'm not going to be the first one to speak up and say no. Well, the reality is people are looking at this as like a bad thing. And it's not really. It's really not the bad thing that people are making it out to be. The truth is we all want and need this. We need this. Like, people will say this all the time, how the Rockefellers wanted workers. You want workers. I want workers. The reality is everybody who's sitting back at home talking about, I'm going to start my own business and build this company, they want workers, because without workers, their company and their business could never thrive. It couldn't thrive. You need workers. Businesses will not thrive without workers. Like, no business, not even the smallest sole proprietorships, function without workers. Now look, okay, you build a business for yourself, right? You build a business for yourself. You build a business, it doesn't matter what it is. You start your own company, and as you start your own, and you say, I'm gonna keep it small because I don't want to have to hire people, because you have that mentality that you're like, I don't want workers, right? So you're against workers. So be firm, be stern, be very strict in that. I'm not gonna have workers, right? Okay. You're not gonna have workers, so you're gonna build your own company. You're gonna build your own business. Who's gonna make your logo? Oh, you're crafty and you're artsy and you've got some awesome software or something. Okay, so maybe you'll build your own logo. Who's gonna set up your website? Who's gonna make your flyers, your mailers? Who's gonna set up there's gonna be your LLC. Who's gonna set up your who's gonna do your taxes? Come on, nobody does everything. Nobody does everything. Like, even the smallest, like most independent, they'll outsource their taxes. They'll outsource logo design. They'll outsource something. They'll outsource they'll outsource their mailing, their email. Like, and that seems like, well, I just got on there and I signed up to an email chain, this website that said it would do my emails for me. Who do you think built that? Workers. Workers develop that website. Workers manage it. Workers make sure everything is, the funnels, the email funnels actually function. Workers test it. Workers programmed it. Workers. Without workers, nothing exists. Without workers, it doesn't happen. There's always been workers since long before the Rockefellers. There was always workers back in the biblical times. Back in biblical times, you read the stories. I'm talking about, like, read your Bible, read Exodus. Read Exodus. You'll read the stories of the people, the generations that came out of Egypt. And you'll read the different generations and how, well, this guy, he got married and he took his wife, and then they had sons, and then they had daughters, and they took their sons and their daughters, and so they traveled to the next town over, and then they built their house that's working. They built their house, and then they started planting crops, and they got some cattle, and so they started raising animals. But they're doing it all themselves. No, they're not doing it all themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't have enough to survive. Their sons are now helping them. Their sons are now workers. They are now the leader of the family, the head of the family. They're the head of the business, the corporation. These families, see, because the corporation is businesses, right? So these families would join with other families, so that way their wealth would grow. They would be plentiful. in everything, because they were like, well, I'm really good at growing things, but I'm really terrible at animals. I'm going to marry into that family over there. They're good at animals. We're good at crops. So now we can help each other. Oh, look, now I'm going to marry into this family because this family over here, I'm going to have my son marry that lady over there because that family, they're all incredibly great at building. They're carpenters. Like, if we all come together, then we build, and we have a family of workers. We've become a society that has this. We've become this society that has this negative connotation with the idea of work. It's not bad. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with work. It's just a matter of, are you doing what makes you happy? That's the key. And that's what I always teach here on my channel and throughout everything that I portray to others, and that I try to, coach people in business, in life, and in your walk with God and your faith. Are you doing what makes you happy? Are you doing what God's called you to do? Are you doing that thing that's been placed on your heart, that this is a thing that's important and you've got to do it? Like, are you doing anything to that effect? It's like, my wife was called to be a nurse. She's called to be a caregiver. We're working really hard right now to get to that next level where she can cut back her hours. We're going to close on our house and our property and all that stuff. But she loves caring for people. She's even said it. She's like, once I leave this place, I'm going to miss my patients. Every place that she's left, she bonds with her patients. She misses her patients when she leaves because she's got a caregiver's heart. God has placed it on. She is a worker. I am a worker. I work for my clients. I work for my family. I work for my community. I have had countless jobs where I worked for a company or a business. I've done contract labor where I was in charge of myself. I chose the contracts I wanted to take, but chose when I took those contracts, hey, I agreed to this contract. I'm in it till the contract is up. I'm in it till the task or the job is done and handled. I am fully committed. Excuse me. Apologies for that. So I'm fully committed. And so when I go into these things, I'm a worker. I choose the contracts that I want because I choose what I think is going to be beneficial for both me and them. Am I going to feel fulfilled by helping them with their business? Are they going to walk away feeling like I've helped them grow and develop their business? Are they going to feel like I've gotten them to the next level in their life? Are they going to feel like at least I put them on the right track because I'm knowledgeable about what they're trying to develop? Do I feel equipped to do what they need me to do? And do I feel like what they are wanting and needing and desiring and chasing is something that I can get behind? And I feel like, you know what? I'm with you, man. This is a great idea. I'm here for you because I believe in your idea. I believe in your passion. I believe in your vision. I want to know that I'm fully in it and that they're fully in it. But then once I accept and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to help you with this. Then I'm in it. Now I'm a worker. I'm a worker. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Herd mentality is not bad. Working is not bad. It's just a matter of context. The negative aspect of herd mentality is, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, you're not looking enough. It's on social media. It's like this idea of the Rockefellers wanted to create workers, not individuals. No, be an individual. I'm an individual. I'm very much an individual. I coach business and life, and I never hesitate to bring my kids in it. I never hesitate for my boys to be involved, for them to be a part of what's going on. I never hesitate to share my faith and my love of God, and knowing that all I'm doing is there to glorify Him and to better the kingdom, to serve the kingdom. I believe that everything I'm doing is for that purpose. I'm an individual. I am not normal. I am not by any means typical of a business coach or consultant. I am not typical of a man in his mid-40s. I'm not typical. I'm not even typical of what I thought my life would be. I knew what I wanted to. I went to school for psychology believing I was going to be this psychologist who did public speaking and writing books, and I was going to spend most of my life in research, and I was going to do clinical. I was going to have my own practice where I did clinical therapy and stuff, just so I could get more experience and help people along the way as I grew and developed and had, more foundation for my research and understanding why we think the way we do and why we operate the way we do. Like, and my mom always saw my dad and her as like business minded, like they wanted to own a business. And so I was like, one day I'll own a business. I'll own my own business. But I didn't know what it was. And from the time I got into college, I just tried everything. Like everything there was to try. It's like my buddy hit me up and he's like, hey man, I got a business idea. Dude, I'm in, let's do it. I was like ready to try anything and everything. Like at the very least, if it fails, I got experience. And you know what? That's what I got. A whole lot of failures and a whole lot of experience. I'm not normal. And I don't have the life I thought I was going to have. The life I have is better. It's so much more incredible than I ever could have imagined it would be. God knew better than I did what I needed, and God has blessed me in enormous abundance. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for where my life is. But it's definitely not typical. It's not normal, and that's okay. That's what makes it special. But when I'm in a crowd, when I'm in a group, do I stand out as an individual? I believe I do. But when I'm in a crowd or a group or a team and it's like, hey, this is the task that's at hand. This is what we need to do next. This is where we're going or where we're at. Am I okay with complying and going with the crowd? Yeah. Because how else do we become successful? How else do we get there? We're all trying to go, oh, no, you're going with the crowd. Herd mentality, the idea, the negative connotation of herd mentality says you don't go with the crowd. Why? Sometimes the crowd is going exactly where they should be going. In the concept and idea of a school setting, if you're going with the crowd and the crowd is following the teacher's instructions, then you're going to pass and succeed and you're going to learn something. Don't stop being an individual, but don't stop complying either, just out of sheer rebellion and sheer defiance and not being put into that box. I'm not in a box, but I know when the right time to comply and follow rules and guidelines and structure is, and when the time is like, let's stand out, let's be big, let's be bold, let's be CoreyB, let's be me. I know the difference between those different times. Herd mentality is not bad. Most psychological processes and things, they're not negative. They're just part of the way God designed us to be there. God designed us to be that way. God designed us to think and operate that way. When you're trying to go against the grain intentionally, you're not rebellion because you're standing out. You think it's making a statement and you fed into what someone else is trying to get you to do, not what you wanted to do on your own. No one does that on their own. No one wants to just be difficult and stubborn on their own. Yeah, that's a different kind of conditioning. We can talk about that later. All right, I hope this gives you something to think about and marinate on. I don't know, just life, business, how we process things. And I want you to take away one more thing. God can use all things for good. Even the things that everyone around us says is bad. God can make it powerful. All right, y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.